Can you hear it loud and clear? Oh no.
Hello and welcome back to GM32, the hockey podcast. I'm here with
Vito Scaringi, and we're also here with, you guys want him, you guys got him for the third time, 2 times in a row, the Slim Reaper, Johnny boy. How you doing, buddy?
Glad to be here, boys. So excited to be with you.
Yeah, we got a great episode tonight. We had Anthony here tonight. We talked about some real good stuff. His development a little bit and time in college and some other good things. And it was awesome to talk to him. We got his brother on tomorrow.
Yeah, Nicky, me and Nicky had some good stuff too, but having Anthony on here was fun. He's got some great stories for the young ones and for the adults. Yeah, absolutely. We have some great questions for him, and he's just one of our good friends. We all played, me and Carson played with him. And we were very excited to have him on, and he gives you guys a great episode. So stay tuned. You guys are going to love it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Johnny the Slim Reaper back on, co-hosting tonight with the boys. His third man in. Fourth man in, we got Anthony Passero. Anthony, how you doing today, kid?
Good, boys.
Thanks
for having me.
No problem. Thanks for coming on today.
Glad to be here.
What's going on, baby?
Nothing.
Fucking right.
Just trying to get my life going here.
That's it.
Start a new job tomorrow. That's about it.
Hey, there you go.
Where you starting?
I'm at Sherwin-Williams. Just got hired there. at
Nice.
Sherwin-Williams.
Beautiful.
Across the street here?
No, it's in St. Catharines.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, I know that'd be nice. That's all right. Little drive. It's good.
Yeah, right on, man.
Doing
what,
though? What are you doing there? It's like a management training program on it. Like,
nice.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Civ does it.
Oh,
so
okay.
he kind of got me in. And
Civ, shout out
because
Civ
his dad-
already. Shout out Civ already.
Yeah, so just kind of try something new. Haven't been doing much because hockey's not going. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's it. Start tomorrow, and I'm pretty excited.
So for the listeners, you coach the Mets, correct?
Yeah, with my brother. Yeah.
And did you guys have you guys played any games this year?
Yeah, we played about 16, I'd say, in October, November.
Yeah, you did that. You did that like series,
Mini
right?
series, with
nice.
Pelham, and then we played the Falls like 10 times, I think.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a lot of fun, and then Christmas time they shut us down,
Right.
which was kind of beat, but
Yeah.
Right on. Well, Anth, obviously now everybody knows you coach Fort Erie, but you also played for Fort Erie. You had a really great career there, captain, all these things. Your dad and the organization is really important. Let's hear about some of that. Like we talk a lot about guys' careers growing up, where they played, and just how they got to where they were. So
yeah, I just grew up there. I was never really a thought of going anywhere else. Not that I had crazy options or anything, but I mean, from day one, like I think it's cliche to say, but we were kind of born into it. We just were there all the time. I mean, we skated all the time in tracksuits as kids, and then eventually we started throwing our gear on and getting out there. And yeah, it was just always like meteor for us, and trying to get all our buddies involved and try to get the guys down from the Falls, and just always want to be a part of this. And I think it speaks volumes because a lot of them did. It was cool. So I think I played at 16. I think I was ready to play. I struggled a little bit. I mean, didn't get the most ice. I got hurt. I think I was good enough, but I mean,
development year.
It was definitely a development year.
16. When you were 16, that was my second year, and it was still a tough league.
Yeah,
it was big boys in the league, like big boys. Me and you were not the biggest.
Yeah.
But we had to work hard, right? And for sure, that's definitely a development year for you.
Yeah, so
that's a tough league.
I got lucky, obviously, like your dad owning the team. Like I was gonna be there. But I always told myself I was good enough to be there. I think that was the biggest thing. I played the year before. I played five games and a couple in the playoffs, and I scored a couple of goals, and it was just fun. And I knew all the guys, which makes it way more comfortable. Like
of course.
A 16-year-old coming into a junior team is not an easy thing, but I knew everybody. I had my brother. I had just older guys that I knew, and I felt comfortable, so that was nice, and it was in my hometown. And my dad was there. That was the biggest thing, and I just think it was always, we had young players though. It's always, you guys know, it's always been a development thing. So it's not like it was just me and a bunch of old men. Like it wasn't like that. And I learned a lot from.
It's the guys you grew up with.
Yeah, and I learned a lot from those guys, and I learned a ton from guys we played against. Like some of the players we played against were insane good. Just didn't want to go play elsewhere. Like back then, it was like we're gonna go back and play junior B, and some of the guys the Falls had, Thorold had, St. Catharines. It was fun to play against. It sucked, but yeah, Caledonia wasn't there yet at 16, but yeah, so that's just basically the start of it, and then every year it kind of got better. Some injury made it a little worse at times.
Yeah, we'll get into the big one.
Yeah, but I think it was always just a Fort Erie thing for me, and clearly it still is.
Yeah, beautiful.
Obviously.
Beautiful. How now? Like you said, you guys got a couple games in this year. How'd you guys fare?
Pretty well. I think we were 10-4-1.
That's not a bad record.
Nice.
But don't quote me on it. Nick will get it better
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah. If you didn't know, we got Nicky coming on. His brother coming on next episode too as well.
Yeah. We had a good record, winning record. Our goalies are good. Young kids that were just excited about it, and I mean, I think we got the COVID sucked for everybody, but the kids were so excited to play that it was just so much easier. Like they're ready to go and just wanted to play all the time, so that was easy, and we got some wins out of it.
Yeah, you, Nicky, did your work this year, eh? Big time, putting that team together, and it seemed like they really turned out for you. Now you were just telling me before we kind of got on air here. What you got any info on us for the return this year, maybe?
We don't. Again, another Nick knows it all.
Yeah,
I don't know anything,
yeah.
But I'm just a hockey guy. But he, we're just waiting on lockdown to like kind of
lockdown end. Yeah, makes sense.
Like,
as everybody is for sure.
It's not a hockey thing. It's just kind of a provincial thing. Well, a region thing here. So as soon as if we can get into the orange. Don't quote me on it, but I think we'll start skating like that night or the next day.
You guys will get right on it, eh? You
Yeah.
guys aren't scared. Yep.
Try to get the guys here. Like the kids want to play.
Yeah.
So if we have a lot of local kids, not too many kids are from too far away. So I think if they tell us they're going to lift it next week, we can just send out a text and we can have the guys here.
Beautiful.
Again.
Yeah. Don't quote you on it, but
that's my hope. That's my hope. Yeah.
Beautiful. We hope so too. Definitely got to get out to a few games. Hopefully, if they end up getting out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
100%. Well, you had a good college career too, Buff State and Oswego. Tell us a little bit about your college career and stuff, and I think we'll go back to the injury later, but let's hear about the college career and how that went for you.
Yeah, so I obviously I always wanted to play Division I. I think just a dream for a lot of us. For some guys, but for me it was Division I. Just wasn't happening. Really, at the end it wasn't realistic. So I just reached out to Buff State. They reached out to me earlier, and I didn't really kind of get back to them. I wanted to go D1. I was locked on it. And then, so I got in touch with the coach, went and met with him, and he took me, which I was excited about. I got to live at home. It's I don't know if you've ever been. Well, you've played up upstate, but it's it's like 5 minutes over the border. So I lived at home. No, it'd be closer than me going to Niagara College. So it was actually really nice. I was nervous as hell. Like I was always the known name on my team here because I was a Fort Erie guy. Last name's Passero. Dad was the owner. I was the captain. Like it was just so easy for me.
Heavy left shoulder.
My buddies were here. My buddies were here all the time. We just kept filtering friends through. You go to Buff State, that's gone. Like there was none. I didn't know. I knew one kid on Buff State, Woody.
Woody Mack. Yeah,
but I didn't know him. I played against him.
Yeah.
So that's that, and it was nerve wracking. And then I got there and.
Was Michalski there too at that time?
Yeah, again, played against him, but didn't know him.
Yeah, great
got
guy.
There nicest guy.
Yeah, I think he's had it. I think is he having a kid or no?
No, he
just got married. Yeah, he just got married. Yeah, congrats, buddy.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And,
Shout out.
So I got there and it was nerve wracking. We had a ton of guys. We brought in 14 freshmen. I was just didn't really know if I was gonna fit in. There were some guys that were just coming out of other leagues that just seemed better than me and
just uncertainty. Right?
And if you guys didn't play D3, but no, you
did for a bit.
You did. So the first 2 months you don't play. You're just there.
Oh, really?
Captain skates.
The first month.
Oh, that's it.
First month. Yeah. But at Buff State, you don't even skate for the first month. Then the captain skates start, and it's so you're just working out. And I'm like, okay, well I'm here to play hockey. I'm here for school too, but it's we're not playing hockey. So now you're kind of getting down on yourself because there's guys in the gym that are jacked.
Oh yeah.
Or they're just throwing weight around. I looked at. He's one of my best friends, Brody. He's throwing weight around. He's my size. And I'm like, what are you doing? How are you doing that?
Yeah.
We're the same size. And I've never told him that. But it's just wow. And so that's something I have to get to. And I was never a gym guy, still not. I did what I had to, but I was never throwing weight around, that kind of thing. So nervous. And then the skates started and I started to get a little more comfortable, and then I made the opening night roster, which was huge.
Yeah.
And I scored in the first game, and that was a big
confidence boost.
Big confidence boost, and I was think one of 2 freshmen that played every game that year. And I had a good year.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a good year, and it was fun, and I ended up leading the team in points, and I won a couple awards, and it was awesome. It was really from where it started. I didn't think it was going to get to that, and I'm really glad I stuck it out and made a ton of good friends, and then
What would you say, just like a couple things, because like obviously having those anxieties, like just maybe for some of the young guys maybe listening that going into that experience, how did you overcome some of those anxieties and just like work through that? Because like obviously you had success and triumph, so.
At the time, I didn't even know they were anxieties. That's the big one. That was the easiest part, and just I had my dad there to kind of tell me, or my brother. Yeah. My brother was playing D3 at the time, and he went through the same thing. Like he went through a thing where he was better than guys on his team, and didn't really get a fair shake his first year. Like he got it good enough shake, but he could have played more games or got more power play time. But
I felt like I had a similar experience.
Yeah, sure, and a lot of people do. Yeah. And that's the problem with college hockey, I think, is there's so many freshmen. Like there's guys that don't get a sniff at all, and then in their sophomore year, you see like, holy, like this kid had like. So that's why I'm very fortunate. Like if I could have been one of those guys that didn't play, I'm not the best practice player. I'm not flashy. I'm not one of those guys where you're like, I have to put him in the lineup to spark this. So I'm kind of lucky I got in that first night. I think about that all the time. And but
took advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, for sure, I did. And I was playing with good players, and that was a confidence boost as well. Like you see your jersey in a stall with. You're on the orange line with two good players. You're like, all right, like I'm okay today. Like and that's what college is. Like a lot of those little anxieties. It's an everyday thing. And I think just to say overcoming it, it's I don't want to say I had to overcome anything, but rather than I just had to stick with what I planned. Like I'm not leaving. I'm here for school. I'm here for. At the time, I was planning on 4 years, but I didn't.
You made a commitment, right?
Yeah, and like stick to it. And I had my dad kind of just telling me like, you're there for a reason. Like you belong there. Same thing he told me when I was 16 playing for him. So I think it kind of went full circle, and it was just a no-brainer to just keep going with it, and I'm glad I did.
Great to lean on those guys that have that experience, right? It's awesome to have your brother and your dad with so much experience. But
and I played the last half of my last year, and then you ended up carrying on. You played one more year. You were solid. You were solid, and like you had a ton of confidence in the coach playing growing up, especially your last few years too. You had great numbers. How was your? You said you were a little bit nervous as a freshman coming into. Like, what was your mentality like for the viewers, and like, what did you do personally to kind of get through that and make that starting lineup? Like, what was your thought process in that way?
Yeah, that was the hardest part. So I've said this before, and you would know, college hockey, like practice is so important.
Yeah.
Like some guys don't get a sniff, so you have to be a practice player.
Yeah.
Which I really wasn't. I was used to junior B practicing.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. I loved being out there. But at the end of the day, I knew, and my dad, and another thing my dad told me, it was just like, if I'm going to play, I have to put up numbers.
Yep.
I was small. I was a centerman. I wasn't fast. I wasn't strong. Like all of those things, I was good enough. But I think I had to make plays, and I had to put up numbers. Yep. And I think I led the team in points the whole year. And so almost, in a sense, the coach really couldn't take me out. No. He could. There was nights where I'm sure he went home and wanted to throw his laptop watching film, right? Like one night, like he did scratch me. Like he scratched me one night. We lost, and he scratched like 10 of us. He was like the next night. Like he put the lineup up for the next day, and 10 of us were scratched. We were going short the next day. D were playing forward. The third string goalie was playing. Like he was trying to prove a point.
Send a message.
And then I got to the rink in the morning, and he changed his mind, and I was hungover.
You went out.
It wasn't good. Yeah. But he changed his mind. It was like our biggest game of the year. And so when I got to the rink in the morning, he kind of called me and he's like, "Okay, I'm giving you a chance tonight." And I'm lucky because I did get to play every game.
Yep.
But it's at the end of the day, for me, the only way I was going to stick is if I was putting up numbers. And the same thing when I got to Oswego. Oswego's so loaded with players. They had talent everywhere. They had speed, skill, size. They had it all. Sitting in the stands, like guys sitting in the stands, like that's how like the recruiting they do, and is that good? So when I got there, I just told myself for the first 2 months how I have to just put up numbers when the season starts.
And you did.
And I did.
And you did.
And again, I played with some stud players, especially in Oswego. Like
you had Big A there, eh?
Yeah,
Big Alex DiCarlo there. How was playing with him? That's good. You got any beauty stories of Big A or what?
Yeah.
You got one.
No, like nothing like that. But he's a good story. He was. First of all, I didn't know him at all. Well, I knew his name just from his
being
brother,
around here. Yeah.
And then
stud hockey player.
The first half of the year, the first half of the year, he didn't really get a chance. And,
really?
But it was on him a little bit. Like he wasn't the best practice player like me when I was a freshman. he didn't really have like the. Like some days it looked like his pulse wasn't there, and it was. But it's hard when you're not playing. Like, it's hard.
Yeah. That's the kind of player he is. That's the kind of player he is at all times. He's kind of reminds me of Spezza, kind of just like out there.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
But like we'll come down and just fucking tear you up. Anyway, sorry to cut you off.
No. And yeah, that's actually a good comparison. But then he got a chance, and he took over the year. Like he probably saved our year.
Oh yeah. He
was scoring goals from anywhere on the ice. And his pro shot, like he'll play pro hockey, and he's such a good kid, and he's so humble. And he started. I don't want to say he didn't, but coming into that year, I doubt he worked out. And like now, he is, and he's just more into it. And he loves Oswego. Like he's gonna do really good things there. Yeah. And he was the only freshman in his class, and that's tough too. Like you don't really have anyone to lean on. Like he was by himself with a bunch of upperclassmen. Like that's tough.
Yeah.
So, I actually got to play on a line with him the last probably 10 games of the year, and it was so much fun. He was he's just a goofy kid, and me and our winger Mitch Emerson, he was a senior too. We had a ton of fun with it, and he's one of those guys, like if you can put the puck on his stick, it's going in, and it was fun, and I was excited to watch him this year. It kind of sucks that we couldn't, but I mean
I know. I shot shit with him a bit a couple weeks ago. He agreed to come on with the boys once he's home. So we'll get him on for sure. Maybe we'll bring Ant back to Coco if that's okay. Maybe we'll get him on.
I got some questions.
That'd be a good time. Okay. Johnny boy, you got something?
Yeah.
Slim?
We actually kind of got a couple things in common. Just with the transition from junior to your first year in college, I felt the exact same way. And also, I ended up transferring from the school I was at after 2 years as well. And I wanted to ask you just what kind of was the reason for the transition, and how was your mindset going into that third year?
Yeah, so just not to get too far into it, but my sophomore year, I got named assistant captain. I took on a bigger role. I had a lot of confidence from the year before, and I was kind of the captain was my best friend on the team, and I'm not one of those guys, as you know, to sit back. Like if stuff's going wrong, I want to talk about it. I want to get it out. Let's figure it out. Yeah. Let's do this today. Let's not talk about it tomorrow. Yeah, and I've always been that way. I've worn a letter for a long time, and I take pride in that. So I was a letter, or as assistant captain, but the whole year just wasn't like, I felt like I always had that letter being played against me. It's a big college thing. Yeah. Well, some places. I shouldn't say that. I don't want to put college all under the same thing, but it can happen. It's like a stereotype. Yeah. And so anyways, it wasn't a fun year. I didn't have as much fun. I had fun off the ice with my buddies. Some of them are still my best friends, but going to the rink wasn't as fun. And that was the first time in my life where going to the rink wasn't fun. It's tough. Yeah. And that's tough because I was 22 and I had 3 more years here. Yeah. And I was there to play hockey. And there were some guys that were happy, but the guys closest to me, we did a lot of complaining. We did a lot of sitting at home, sitting around here, hot stoving it, complaining about things. My ice time dropped, and I don't know. It sucks. I was still getting a chance. Like I don't like bashing. I'm not bashing it because I was still getting a chance, and I was still very thankful for the chance I got the year before. But anyways, at the end of the day, it wasn't.
Just needed a fresh start.
Yeah, but I was also never a guy that wanted to leave home. Like I was always a Fort Erie guy. I lived at home when I was going up upstate. So then one night I just messaged my buddy that was there and kind of told him that I wanted to go there, and he talked to the coaches, and we started that process, and it was the most nerve-wracking probably month of my life. It was I never wanted to leave these guys, like the Buff State guys. I never wanted to do that. Like telling your then you got to tell the coach, and now once all that's done, it's like, okay, take a deep breath. But then now, like the next process starts of getting a house in Oswego, getting stuff to go to Oswego, classes, all that stuff. So it was
meeting your coaches, meeting your teammates,
all of it. And now I'm going from a middle of the pack team, I'd say, to one of the best teams in the country. Yeah. And then so it was scary. And so like my first day getting to Oswego, I got in the room and we had 34 players, I think.
Holy.
Like guys were sharing stalls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our room is massive. Like it's unbelievable. And the coaches are like, like the new guys are going to share stalls, like, and we're going to switch it around just for a little bit. Because they just brought in a bunch of guys. And we had 3 transfers, I think. 2 D1, 2 from D1 and me. So I get there, I'm like, I just left being a captain. Yeah. Power play, odd penalty kill, and living at home with my parents. Yeah. Coming here, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, there's 6 D1 guys on that wall. And I'm like, oh man, like this isn't good. Like,
So for
the next, So again, for the next month where we're not playing, we're just practicing, I was on eggshells. I was so nervous. Like, did I just make like the biggest mistake of my life?
Yeah.
And eventually it worked out. Like that didn't happen, and I realized I could go on. I could do 2 hours talking about Oswego. It's one of the greatest places ever. The people there, the coaches,
the fan base you guys had
the
there
fans.
was incredible.
Like it's a Division I program at the Division III level. The only thing that I can like say that sucked about it was we didn't win. Like we choked. We choked.
Should have won.
My junior year.
Geneseo?
Yeah, my junior year, I think we should have won.
Yeah.
I think we had the best team in the conference. My senior year, we struggled. But we were still good. We won a bunch of games.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we make it to the finals, and we lost 4-2, I think. But we had a chance to win. But I could not imagine winning a championship in Oswego. I honestly couldn't.
Yeah.
And so that's the only thing I could say that was like, that sucks. But other than that, I got no complaints.
Now that you're coaching, maybe one day you'll get a chance.
Exactly.
Well, the team you guys are putting
I
together
would
sounds
love that.
like
Yeah,
it.
that'd be nice.
Sounds like it. So you did everything, and then let's kind of hop backwards a bit here. You played your minor hockey in Niagara Falls, right? Growing up.
Yep.
Played with a couple of the boys. You played with a few good players too. You guys had a pretty solid team, eh?
No.
Oh
no.
no.
No, we were bad. No, we were bad. But yeah, no, we were bad. But it was a lot of fun. Like it was, we thought we were good players, but
You did play with, like, say, our buddy Johnny Curran and Ben Harper and whatnot, a couple guys in the
Yeah,
NHL.
I'm surprised to
East Coast
say
League.
actually when you were asking him, I
Yeah.
thought you were being genuine.
No,
Because,
no.
I'm surprised to hear that because you guys have so many good hockey players at that age group.
On paper, they were pretty good. Yeah, Pereira, right?
yeah,
Yeah, on paper, they were solid.
we were good, but a lot of us were undersized, and
Yeah, okay.
we had kids coming in from all over. We got everyone scraps. Some of us were scraps, but we got everyone scraps. That's what happened. Like kids filtered down from Hamilton into St. Catharines, then they went to Welland, and then they thought about coming to us, right? Which is fine.
He's not wrong. It
No,
happened to me, too.
It
Like, I'm
kind of
6 years older
happens
than
to
him.
everyone, and
Yeah.
it's
I played in the Falls too for a bit.
yeah.
See what
so-
happened? Scraps.
Yeah.
No. I'm kidding. Just kidding,
yikes.
buddy. Good player.
No, but
Yikes.
yeah, that's funny. No, but those guys that you named, like those are my best friends from that team, and we were the guys that went on to play, and a couple other guys did too. I'm not taking that away from them, but at the time we weren't the most touted players besides Ben, but now we're like everyone played. I played Division III, and I was the other three guys played D1, and Ben played in the O. Like it was, but we never had no one wanted to quit ever. There was never any like I don't want to do this anymore. Let's go work, or let's go. I want to go to Western and just do the normal person thing. We didn't. We just didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think that's a lot of hockey players, like the guys that really love the game and feel that way, you know, like they don't want to just go to college and do that because the opportunity of college hockey and other things like that. And, you know, especially playing junior, growing up around here too, other guys going Division I and seeing that happen. And that's cool. It was honestly great to see just, you know, playing with Kyle. You know, I want to bring a shout out to Kyle, but it was cool to see just play with him in Fort Erie, to see him go out west and then eventually play Division I. It was really cool to see his development.
yeah, he played his first pro game last night. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I didn't actually.
Where's he at?
He's in the coast. He's in.
Oh,
He
yeah.
fought.
Hey, beautiful.
He fought?
He fought.
How'd he do?
Whoa,
Won.
hey.
I'll show you the video after he won.
Yeah,
It was
Yeah,
good.
we'll post it. We'll post it.
We'll post it. Tagging Kyle Marino.
Yeah, no, he played last night. Ben got called up again last night, so he played his first game this
With the
year.
Preds?
Yeah.
No
Nice.
way.
He was
Beautiful.
He was awesome. Curran's playing
him.
in the SP right now. He won Player of the Week last week. Had like 2 goals in a fight this weekend. So
Curran
he's
did.
flying.
Curran
He doesn't
did.
fight. That's
You don't
awesome.
fight. We'll post. Johnny, I don't believe that.
That's
I'm
awesome.
kidding, buddy.
Good
Good
on
job.
him.
Good for you, man. That's awesome, man. Good. That's unreal.
And he
to
still
hear.
has his contract in England too. So
Yeah.
COVID
Yep.
kind of screwed him. But
Yep.
Yeah.
again, we just all wanted to play. And Jesse was the most highly skilled in the group, but he just ran into too many issues. His like hips and this and that, and now he's got a little girl, so he's.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
I didn't
he's
know
got-
that.
he's
Congrats,
got-
man.
Yeah, he's got
I did
a
not
baby.
know
Yeah,
that. Wow.
she's
Congrats, man.
yeah, she's the best. He's doing well with that, working with his old man, but yeah, none of us ever wanted to quit. That was the thing. We didn't really have a choice. There was no reason to.
Well, you know, definitely you not wanting to quit. We can talk about this too. We mentioned it earlier, your injury in junior. I was there for it. You know, the big one, and you know, you definitely worked really hard to come back from that, right? Like that had to be tough. It was a 2-year process.
Yeah.
So do you want to go into that?
Hey,
or?
you want to jump into
Yeah,
that?
sure. It was just
Let's hear right from the beginning, Ant. That's cool.
Well,
What happened?
I was 17,
Okay.
and I was having a pretty good year. I was playing with my brother. Like, he was on my line. We were having a ton of fun, and then it was around Christmas time.
It was New Year's Eve.
Yeah, but...
You remember, eh? You remember New Year's Eve.
But anyway.
Well,
Yeah,
the week before, I hit one of their guys from behind, Dane Phillips, who's one of my good friends now, but... I hit him from behind. He dove, but whatever. It is what it is. I've never hit anyone in my life.
No. Yeah,
So-
seriously.
So, anyways, the next day is the prospect game, and we're up there, and we're all joking about because the next day after that was New Year's Eve game against them,
yeah.
and we're all joking about like you're gonna get it, blah blah. I went up with Dane to the game.
Yeah.
Like we were.
Dane's a stellar guy
yeah,
too. Like
yeah.
Like,
So and like even their coach made a comment to me, and then like someone else made a comment to me like, in front of the league commissioner, like you're gonna get it tomorrow. It was like haha whatever.
Yeah.
So I get out there. So we play Monday night. The game was okay. I don't even know what the score was, but they had
I don't either.
Yeah, me either. But
Yeah.
we had they had a couple guys running me, and then this guy asked me to fight, and I said no, and then I looked at another guy, and I was like, if I'm fighting, like it's gonna be you. I didn't like this kid. I'm not gonna name his name, but like it's gonna be you.
we know who we know who it is. A few of the listeners know too.
So I'm like, if I have to fight tonight for what I didn't do the other night, then that it's gonna be you.
Yeah.
So the shift goes on, and he bumps me after the whistle, and I turn around. I'm like, okay, like let's just do it. Like let's go. And I fought twice prior to that. Like I'm not a fighter.
No.
And
Not even a little
I don't want to say I was ever scared to do it, but I didn't need to. I wasn't good at it. Why would I?
And you had guys on that team that were kind of
Yeah,
built for it too. You
yeah.
guys built around. Yeah, it was good. Anyway, sorry.
So I just said, okay, let's go. And as soon as I said, drop your gloves, I was knocked out on the ice. Like I was done.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of just laying there, and I just hear all the stuff go on behind me. So the guy that had asked me to fight came behind me and just suckered me in the back of the head with his glove on.
And when you were out.
I was out like right away, and then I was
woke
so,
back.
yeah,
Okay.
and I was like, whoa, like I had no clue what was going on because I had the guy that I was planning on fighting was in front of me. We were square, so I knew it wasn't him. Like that didn't happen. So then hell broke loose, and it was bad, and then we had it was New Year's Eve. Naturally, the party's at my house.
Yep.
I couldn't really be a part of it, but we go home, we watch the video, and like when I saw what happened, I was like, no way that just went on.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally just suckered.
Yeah,
right in the back
and
of
I
the
know the kid. I went to school with the kid. He was going to Lakeshore at the time, and I'm getting texts from everybody telling me like he's a good kid. Blah blah. I'm like, I don't care really. Like I'm not saying like, what just happened? Like how did that? Like if he knocked me out in a fight, so be it. That happens all the time. It's gonna happen. It can happen. It can still happen. This was just outrageous. Like I've never
You
seen
weren't looking
this.
at him at all.
I
do remember that.
I grew up in the watching guys fight in the Goj for years, and I saw some brutal things. I saw guys get whacked over the back with sticks. I've seen it all. This was just something I never saw, and I was pretty down for a bit, and I couldn't really grasp like why that happened, you know. And then it turned into like a league-wide thing where now everyone's fighting this guy, and because I had buddies on different teams,
Everyone was fighting that year.
It was just
fought
we had guys. I was on the Canucks at that time, and we had guys on my team that were we ended up playing Leamington. It was Leamington, right? We had guys chasing around. Tori McLean, one of my best friends, one of your best friends.
Yeah.
One of your brother's best friend. Definitely, he went after him. He actually gave him a good goal, gave him a licking. Yeah. And but no, yeah, a lot of guys had our back. Cause that's as hockey players, as it's a respect thing, and like if you're gonna do that, nobody's in the league's not gonna let you get away with it. Mm-hmm. So anyway, sorry to cut you off. Continue with the story there, right?
No, and that also sucks too, because then you kind of feel like you're putting guys in positions they don't deserve to be in. Like I don't want Torrey doing that. And I know he was willing to do it. I don't want Johnny Curran chasing this guy around the ice, slashing him all year. Like, no. And like Kyle, my best friend, has to come up to me and be like, "Hey, I got it," and then he has to go fight him. They pack the Port Arena.
Yeah,
because they know something's gonna happen, and then like 2 shifts in, this guy knows it's gonna be Kyle because he's my best friend. He runs after Kyle and makes sure that Kyle can't get it.
Yeah.
Like,
oh no,
yeah, like he did.
Oh, no way.
They didn't square up.
No, like
No way.
he got Kyle when he was tired, and he just kind of flew up to him and grabbed him, and there was no chance. And but then at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? So be it. Like if Kyle beats him up, it doesn't really get me anything. I still want to know how that just happened. A month ago, right?
Yeah.
And it sucks because at the time you don't know how long you're going to be out. And I had a concussion the year before. I was out for a few months, but this one you don't know, and so that's why it sucked. I kept trying to come back. I was trying to come back, and I was skating, I'm riding the bike, and I'm doing this, and it didn't happen. I ended up dropping out of school. Like I
you were messed up.
Yeah, I was in my room all day, every day. It was miserable.
Tough,
and I've said this on another buddy's podcast where like you just start to lose it. Like my best friends are at the rink, and I don't want to go there because I feel awful. I'm not going on the ice. I'm not doing anything. But again, I keep saying like I didn't have anything else. It was hockey. Like there was no. I'm not going to Western next year to go to school. I don't want to. I don't want to. Like I'm playing hockey sometime. So now we get into the next year, and again, like
Did you miss that whole rest of that year?
Yeah, I missed the rest of that year. The whole next year.
You missed 18. Oh, I didn't know.
And then he was trying to come back that whole year.
I didn't know he missed 18.
My first game was when my first game back was when you came to us.
No way.
That
was your first game?
Yeah.
How do I not know this?
Because you don't care.
You just don't give a shit, eh? You're right, I don't. I just cared about fucking fighting guys, I guess, when I was 20.
No. So
anyways, because you don't care.
No, it just sucked. It was I was still around the team. I was a captain. It was awesome. I had tons of fun. But at the end of the day, I wasn't playing hockey. Like, there was 52 times a year where I got to watch, and I think that made me a better player, actually, in the long run. But I wouldn't wish it on anybody. It just sucked, and I got to watch a lot of my friends live the dream. I think, like, Junior B, like, I think it's the best, and Junior A, too. Like, junior hockey, I think, is the best. But it was tough 2 years for sure.
Okay, so let's get like through your mentality for these guys, because listen, it happens all the time.
Yeah,
it happens all the time. These concussions, it does.
Injuries and coming back.
Like this guy had to battle for 2 years. To come back. Like and did.
A lot of guys pack it in, and honestly, too, a lot of people's parents worry and say, you know, your head and this, and like going back to play hockey, and it's tough and it's stressful too because I've had concussions. I've come back from them, and not quite to the extent of yours, but you know, ones where like, you know, you black out, you don't remember what happened, and you know, it's an anxious feeling coming back because you're like, if I take another hit, am I going to be blacked out cold again? Like it's very weird, and you have to feel comfortable, for one, not have headaches, for two, be comfortable with your play and like that confidence thing too, right? So it's difficult process. Vito, what were you asking though right before this?
Okay, yeah, so you're like, he kind of explained it, like your mentality, like you sat 2 years, right? You tried to come back, it's not fucking working. But you still battled. You still came through. And you ended up playing 4 years college, right? 4 years. You ended up playing another year and a half junior. Like how'd you get yourself through that?
I think the most important part of the whole thing was that my 4 best friends were playing hockey still.
Yeah, mentally.
If they weren't, like if I was just in a friend group where guys didn't play, I think I probably would have looked the other way and been like, you know what, maybe I'm done. But at the time, it was Kyle in Fort Erie, Johnny in Niagara Falls, Ben in the O, Jesse in Fort Erie. Yep. So I had them around me, and that's all we talked about, and that's all that mattered. And I think that was really important. And again, my family, you know, it's only hockey all the time. When we go to the rink, we come home, we put on the Leafs, and we watch, and we talk, and we hot stove everything. That's how we were. So it's not like I could escape hockey, right? So I think that was the biggest thing, and I was jealous of my friends in the sense that they were playing, extremely jealous that they were playing, but I was happy for them, like so happy for them. Ben, we went and watched in Guelph all the time. Their team was awesome. Like we went to their playoff runs, like had a ton of fun. Jesse was sick when he was younger, and he didn't really know if he was going to play again. He had turned into a phenomenal junior B, A, and then college player. Yeah. Kyle didn't have much at 16. Like he was going through. He was probably overweight. He wasn't. He was maturing, but he wasn't like the greatest player in that year. And look what he got to do. Like he got a chance to play, and he did it. Johnny was doing great in Niagara Falls, and it was just that was my mentality. Yeah. And the other thing I would tell myself all the time is, if they can do it, you're going to be just as good as them. Beautiful. Now the other thing that sucks is, with a concussion, it's all about headaches. It's about your neck. Well, you can talk yourself into a headache. I'd still do it. Like if I'm hungover, I'm like, oh, you're dying. Yeah. Like, you know, but so that's the problem with concussions, and that's what sucks. But at the time, concussions were getting way more talked about. That's when Crosby was hurt. Yeah. And Jared Maidens was hurt at the same time. It was in the same month, the same 2 months that this happened. And he's a local guy, and him and I would text here and there. And when we saw each other, just kind of talked about it. He's one of the nicest guys alive, and that kind of stuff helps you. Like I was very fortunate with who I was surrounded with.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, we can kind of dive into that. You know, myself, Carson, and the Slim Reaper over here. We all got our puck addiction shirts on, and you know the mental toll that some of this takes. Like it definitely affects you. And I know personally, it affected you, right, Ant? So if you want to dive into that for us a little bit, and like how'd you kind of pull yourself through and pull yourself out?
At the time, I don't think I was in that headspace. I think it wasn't until later, like more recent, that stuff kind of happened.
Mm-hmm. You said in a college career, right?
And a college, but it was definitely like there was some of that there. Like there was a lot of nights where, and I've said this before, where I couldn't sleep when I was hurt, so I was staying up all night, and then I was going to school in the morning, and I was miserable. Like I hated high school.
Yeah,
a lot of people love high school. Sorry, I hated high school, and it was because I wasn't feeling well ever, so I was miserable. I didn't want to do anything. And then I didn't get to go play hockey after. So really, this sounds like a first world problem, but I had nothing. Like, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I was very lucky with what I had.
You only have what's important to you, honestly.
Sure, like, but I was still lucky with what I had. And I had great friends. My parents are the best. My sister, I have nothing to complain about in that sense. But at the time, I felt like I did. Mm-hmm. And then, so sure, and I saw you guys were on that podcast that you're talking about with what's his name? Sorry,
Brady Leovold.
Yeah. So later, fast forward, and this is fast forward a lot of years. Then my dad dies, and it's grieving is just a rotten thing, and everyone handles it differently. I thought I was good at it. I thought it was something that I could just be like, okay, giddy up. Life doesn't stop. Go. You should be sad. I've been sad about people, but so that's what I did at first. When this first happened, I was the guy that was still taking care of everybody at the house, making sure that you had a beer, making sure you weren't hungry. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, I'm the one that's supposed to be sad.
Yeah.
But I was just surrounded with so many good people, and I'd say it's the best Band-Aid in the entire world.
Yeah.
Well, then you go to school, and I'm still surrounded by the best guys, 25 amazing people, and my coaches, but you still have time alone. You go to bed alone. You whatever.
Shower,
or you walk when you walk to class. You're by yourself, and just kind of stuff like that. And that's when I realized how what anxiety is. And I know my brother had it and has it, and it's a word that I think gets thrown around so often now because. But back then it never did, and it wasn't a thing, and it wasn't. It kind of gets looked at as soft, I think, and that's the problem. I think that's a problem with the hockey culture too.
Absolutely,
and that's why I was so I didn't know what we were going to talk about today. Just obviously a lot of hockey stories, but when you were with him yesterday, I was like, wow, that's actually awesome. I'd love to get that down in this area, is where you have to have a dialogue just to know. So for us now, we're coaches, right?
Yeah.
Our first meeting of the year, I had to just. My brother asked if I had anything to say to the team, and the first thing I said was that door is always open.
Yeah.
That door is always open, because it doesn't have to be a death or you grieving for your day to be awful or you're having a bad week. It could be anything, and so for me, I learned what anxiety was through this awful experience. It was rotten. It still is.
There's no way to put
trust me. I still. It still sucks, and so I just think the reason it's so important to me, and I got a little bit of a long story here, but
oh, dude, keep going.
Yeah, man, we got all the time in the world for you, bro.
No,
this
one that's important, and the reason I want to coach even more is last year. So my head coach in Oswego is one of the best people I've ever met in my entire life. Mm-hmm. Phenomenal guy. His wife passed away a few years back, and he got it out there. It was a cancer, but he was always about helping, but he never felt sorry for himself. So I took that to heart, and I was like, hey, you can't feel life doesn't stop. You got it, and it's so easy to say, but at the end of the day, it sucks, and you could see it in his face sometimes, but he never portrayed it. But once I went through something like that, I could see it. So I would talk to him here and there, and he would always call, and he would always text, and he would always pull you aside and just, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Which was awesome. You're so lucky to have a guy in your life like that. Because if I was playing on other teams, you don't know if you have that. And I know there's a lot of kids out there that don't have that. Again, it doesn't have to be about death. It could be about anything in the world. School's
anything
shitty. School's shitty. Yeah, anything. So, so fast forward, we're in Oswego. We're on a bit of a slide. We lose 3 in a row, which doesn't happen there. Like, the world's going to end when you lose 3 in a row. Yeah. So Saturday comes, and my mom sends me a picture of my dad's headstone. It went into the ground over here on the day of the game. And it was like, it's so nice. We designed it. It was awesome, wicked. Like, we're like, oh, unreal. Well, that's sad. But it's like, it was great to see, but like, that's sad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But you could take it either way.
Yep.
Well, I had to play a game in 2 hours. I was at the rink when I saw it. I'm like, oh man. So I sent it to my buddies just to show them, because they want to see that stuff. They're like, oh, unreal, man. Like, that's sick. That's sick. So we end up playing the game, and we're losing. This team they were good. They weren't as good as us. We were playing Elmira.
Okay.
And they were good. It's not as good as us. And we're down 1 with like 30 seconds left, and my winger does this crazy wraparound backhand to me, wide open net. Like, I didn't know the puck was going to be there. So last second I react, and I put it like back into the goalie, and we lose, right? So I'm like, oh man, like now I feel even worse, because like I was going through a slide, the team was going through a slide. It's just like weight of the world's coming down, right? Yeah. Now you start doing the poor me thing.
Yeah.
So anyways, we're in the room, and our coach gives us a big speech, and then I kind of pipe up after, and I was like, boys, like, it's going to work out. We lost 4 in a row, but it's going to work out. DeCarlo scored his first goal I think it was his first goal that night. And I said, wow, we got to find ways to be happy in here. So I'm happy that kid just scored his first goal. I honestly think the speech was for me. Mm-hmm. Like, I was the one saying it, but I think it was for me. And I even later that night, I asked one of the guys on my team if he got some out of it. He's like, yeah, I did. Like, what you said made a lot of sense. I'm thinking, like, I think I needed that the most.
Yeah.
So we go to a party after, and I had a couple beers. I wasn't even really drinking because I wasn't feeling well. Mm-hmm. On the way out of the house, there's this staircase at one of the houses that I've fallen down on New Year's. I was bruised everywhere. I was like bruised head to toe. I'm gonna sue these pricks, I'm telling you. And so I'm walking out. I'm literally walking out of the house like a toddler, and I go to grab on the railing to walk down, and boom, I go up in the air and I fall again. And I was sober.
Okay.
I ran home. It was probably like 2 minutes up the road. It was 2 minutes up the road. And I lost it. I went crazy. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows why I'm going crazy, right?
Yeah.
And I was freaking out. And because I just felt like that day everything was going so bad.
Yeah.
So again, you go to bed, pour me. And I hate that. Don't do that. So I wake up and I'm like, you're fine. So that day Sunday we had a community service event, and I went in and we did it, and I stayed late, and I asked my coach if he could talk. And this kind of that part's a long story, but the reason I bring this up is because not many people can go to their coach and be like, hey, can you have a second on your Sunday, like your only day off of the week? Like, do you have a second? And he's like, yeah, for sure, sit down. He doesn't know what it's going to be. He doesn't know. I could be quitting. I could be telling him that I got arrested, like anything. He has no idea. Yeah, get in here. And I literally just looked him dead in the eye. My assistant coach was there too, another awesome guy. And I just looked him dead in the eye, and I was like, I'm losing it. Mm-hmm. And he's like, okay. Like, what do you mean? So I told him that story. Like, I told him I fell down the stairs. I told him I missed the wide open net. I told him about the stone, like the whole thing. Yep. And he's like, and his family went through it, so it was easier for him. Mm-hmm. And he just kind of said to me, he's like, well, have you even had a chance to grieve yet? Like, it's only been a year, and you've been here the whole time, like flying around, like school. He's like, you're going through some stuff. Mm-hmm. And he's like, take a deep breath. And I'm like, okay, take the deep breath. And like, we're just sitting there talking. He's like, maybe you need to see someone. Maybe you need it. And I'm like, at the time, I'm like, nah, you don't need that.
Yeah.
And he's like, but you're going through something that nobody in that room knows you're going through. Mm-hmm. They know you're sad, but they don't know that. They don't know that you got that text. They don't know that how bad that open net makes you want to smash your head off the wall. They don't know you fell down the stairs. They don't know you freaked out. Right?
Yeah.
So again, back to the anxiety thing, and back to what I think Brady.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brady is talking about is that open door is so big, and what I think hockey needs.
We talked about it with him, yeah.
And I don't think it makes hockey soft. I don't think it's like giving kids an excuse. But at the end of the day, you want the best of your play. I'll tell you, this guy saved my senior year.
Can I tell you what I think is the most important? And I think this is why.
Yeah.
Because I had guys like this too. We've all had guys like this, but I think all coaches need to be like this. When we grew up, I think it was echoed, and I said this last podcast, it was echoed that, you can't be a good coach and their friend. I think you can be. There has to be a clear line of what's acceptable, but why not be their friend? You can be their friend so they can come talk to you and be comfortable about things and still coach and teach them how to be a good person, be a mentor, be a role model, and know what's appropriate. Yeah, man, like
I got one though. I think kind of one thing I took from what you were just talking about too is I think a lot of people who, especially people that are very selfless, like it sounds like you are, I think a lot of times we can kind of neglect our own care, and it sounds like that was kind of what you were doing. You were kind of, thinking about everyone else and trying to help your team and putting team first and things like that. And I think it's just kind of a lesson that we can take from it is we all do need to be maybe a little bit selfish sometimes in that area and just take some time for ourselves to reach out to lean on someone. And sounds like you finally got that, and I'm sure that helps. So
yeah, for sure. And it was again, I was an assistant captain on the team for the first, and my senior year I was an assistant there too. So I was worried about everyone around me, and there was a couple other guys on the team going through the same thing. My roommate's father passed away, and my right winger's brother passed away. So again, it's not a poor me. Like life doesn't stop. But at the end of the day, my senior year was ticking away, and I wasn't taking advantage of it, and that's why I got to go into that office, and because I had so much trust in my coach. Yeah. He guaranteed he has not told 2,000,000% he's not told that story to anyone because that's confidential. I don't mind sharing it because I don't want someone to have to have not be able to talk to you. Like if so, I think I looked the other day. There was like 250 people downloaded this podcast. Well, if one of those 250 people has a similar story to that, maybe now there's 4 guys talking about it. And they're like, oh, maybe Carson wants to talk about it. Like, because the door is open. Absolutely. The hockey world's the best. I will take that to the grave. The hockey world's the best, but it can be better. Yep. And that's something where it can be better. Like, so I think his name Eddie saved my senior year, where to the point where I got to play a little more free because I got it off my chest. He just listened. He said like 3 or 4 things. It was like 10, 15-minute conversation. Like at the end of the day, he's like, go home and have a beer. Like,
it's amazing that that's all it takes.
Yeah, and he's been through it. He's an older guy. But so the reason I bring this up is because me and my brother are going to coach for a long time. And this anxiety word, like it gets out, it's getting more popular, and it can deter kids from playing because the game gives you anxiety. Like I started getting anxiety in my senior year because my dad wasn't there. I missed him. I missed talking to him before games. I missed talking to him about the lineup. I missed talking to him after games, whether he was there or not. Yeah. Like my first game that year, we won 6-2, and I went home and I lost it in my bed for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and we won 6-2. I was happy, but it was just like, he's not here. Like I got to call him and be like, I was brutal in the face-off dot tonight. But I was good on the power, like that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Like, right? So that's when I really started to think about it, and then when things started like when I say out of control, like I wasn't doing anything like harm, like I wasn't like I was drinking or I wasn't smoking or anything. I was literally just having anxiety. So if me and my brother are gonna coach, it's just so important where these kids, like I want them to know if you're having something's going on, the door's open. It doesn't mean that I don't want you to come on the ice and make our team better. Like I'm not gonna give you like the benefit of the doubt on the power play, So like hockey's the hockey and the X's and O's is still gonna be there, but we're people. Like we're all people, and I think that's an adjustment that the hockey world needs to make, just a small one. And it's definitely something I'd want to be a part of, and I'm so glad that you guys talked to Brady.
Of course. Well, you know what? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, well, we're definitely gonna. We're gonna stay involved too, and we'll take you with us. Like anything you want to do to help, we're gonna keep doing it too. And I think it's something, like you said, it's something the hockey world needs. We all got to kind of step together here.
That's what this is about. It's the inclusive of everyone, right? Like the entire hockey world, and not shunning anybody for any reason. Like if they have addiction problems, anxiety problems, depression problems, all these things, it's not shunning anybody for any reason. It's acceptance. It's making sure that everyone's comfortable and able to develop and succeed through and overcome their obstacles and failures. And I was excited to hear that you said, just kind of a small comment, me and my brother are going to coach for a long time. I love that. I love to hear that. You guys are great hockey people, intelligent. You guys speak eloquently and about the game and just about your experiences. And I'm thankful to have you on, and we're gonna have your brother on, and I've known you for a long time, and excited just about moving forward in the area with you guys.
Yeah, no, we're definitely excited to coach. And
before you do that, I just want to give a little salute right now, a little toast.
Yeah.
Sure.
Toast real quick to your father. And
There you go.
absolutely, what a hockey
Right
guy.
on.
Guy loved the coach
Appreciate
and the
that.
Meteors more than anybody. Salute. And hope God rest his soul. But let's keep going here, and we're having good talks right now. Anthony, again, thank you for coming on. It's been great so far.
Yeah.
But I think Slim, we got anything for him?
Yeah, I got a quick question. I wanted to ask you about just kind of your transition from your playing career into coaching. And how many years have you been coaching so far?
This is my first year.
This is your first year. Okay.
I've coached before, but not junior. Like I've coached minor hockey teams, but this is my first year coaching the Meteors.
Right. So, it's actually funny to say that too, because this is my kind of first full year of doing it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for me, just kind of over the summer and then kind of the first couple months of coaching, it was just a transition where you grow up and you just like you were saying earlier, is you think of yourself as a hockey player. It's such a part of your identity that when you kind of transition away from that a little bit, it's I struggled with it a little bit, and not that I wasn't grateful to be a coach, but it was just such a new kind of thing in my life. So I wanted to hear about your experience just kind of this first year, and obviously it's been pretty crazy so far, but were there any things that kind of surprised you about your first year or things like that, or did you struggle at all kind of with the transition, or how was it?
I don't think I struggled with it. It's different. It's our team. That's the biggest thing. We've been around it I'm 25 years in. My brother's 27. Like we've been here, so that makes it easier.
Yeah.
I think, and going back, and I don't want to keep going back to this, but my last year, when I was having those little anxieties like about the game, I wanted it to be over. So I wanted my last year to be over. I loved every second of it, but there was times where I'm like, okay, like I don't know if I have this in me anymore, and I did. I did have it in me, but those are the kind of little thoughts you get, and so now that it's over, I'm kind of like, oh man, I would do anything. So a year ago today was my senior night, or a year ago tomorrow, I think, senior night. Yeah. One of the best nights of my life. You know what? I would give my left arm to go back there, but it goes quick, and that's the part of it. It goes quick. So now I was lucky that hockey was always going to be in my life, so I'm not out of it. We get here, we coach with our buddies. We have we have a different friend on the ice every night. Like we're there, we have a couple beers. We still have some people that are there that were with my dad, like Joe, Mark, Fred.
Legends.
So like just guys that have been around for 40 years. So we're lucky there. G-Force, yeah.
Is he still there?
He has like COVID. He wasn't coming around, but he's still around, and it's just we're lucky. Like I say that every single day. We're lucky, but at the end of the day, I miss the dressing room. Yeah, I struggle with that. I don't miss practicing. College practices, zero. I miss getting off the ice and sitting in my gear and then going in the shower. Yeah. I miss getting to the rink early.
Great shower guy, you are. Great shower guy.
I miss getting to the rink early and complaining and having coffee and complaining again. Like that's just what we did, and that's what I miss. I miss playing. I miss playing in front of Oswego fans. Was so fun. They were so passionate. We were so lucky. But at the end of the day, you miss something. Like I miss winning on a Saturday night and going to the hotel with all the parents and having fun. Like I miss that sort of thing. Yeah. So that's the struggle. That's where it's like. But again, I think it's important for my brother and I to make sure that these kids that come play for us think that same way. Yeah. So that's why we need them to know, and this goes for anybody that I know in this game. Like. If something's going wrong, get it out there, because you're not going to perform. There's only so many people in the world that can have the weight of the world on their shoulders and still keep going. It's hard and be their best is what I'm getting at. So, and I think that's just it's an important thing. It's just open door, come talk about it, and let's figure it out.
Yeah, right away. Don't let it sit around, right?
No.
That's huge.
And I think we were taught. I think we were taught to let it sit around. I think you're a hockey player. You're a tough guy. So I mean,
well, we're running pretty late here, Ant. We I think we're at 55 minutes. It's felt like 15. I can do this here with all day. And we've done it before, and in the Fort Erie Change Room, we've had some great stories. We've had a sick wrestling match, and we went through a table. But we'll save that one for another time. Yeah. But, man, I appreciate you agreeing to come on, man. You had some great stories and some great lessons for these young players, because that's what we're about here at GM32. Like, yeah, we like getting the war stories out. I love them. You know that. I fought your brother. I love them. But like at the end of the day, man, I think it's all about, like I said, with Pursuit especially and GM32. We want to develop the youngers and even the adults too, and just keep everybody informed and like kind
of. It's a better attitude and innovating the game of hockey, because it's been the same for so long, and that's the unspoken side. Okay, the skill development, all that's physical. You see that changing. Whatever, the mental, that stuff behind closed doors, the management, all that stuff has needed to change for a very long time. It's starting to become more known, and I think that's important.
Yep.
Yeah, I
absolutely
couldn't agree more.
But let's kind of finish her up here. And again, thanks Anthony for coming on. You've been a blast.
Yeah, man. Honestly,
thank you, Slim Reaper, for being third man in, Anthony fourth man in here, GM32.
That was fun.
And it was a great time. We'll be back, Anthony. Thank you very much.
All right, boys. Thanks for having
us.
That was fun, man.
Beautiful.
Wow. What a nice episode with Anth. I know him well, obviously playing with him a couple years in Fort Erie and just around the rinks here, playing 3-on-3 tournaments and stuff. And him and his brother, they've been great people in my life, and his dad. And
super well spoken, had some great insight. Just an awesome guest, man. It was kind of another one of those guests where you just kind of wind up and let him go, and he had some good things to say.
Absolutely. Yeah, you don't know him too well, and you got a good backstory out of him, Slim. But no, like I said, I played with Anth for a bit too, and I played against him for quite some time. Played against him, his brother, and just the whole Passero family is just so genuine, and loves the game of hockey, and loves just building players.
Loves giving people opportunities.
Absolutely, that's huge. That's exactly it, and it was
myself included.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you go. It was same with me. You know what I mean? I had nowhere to go, and they gave me a spot to play, and to finish my career to boot. So
I'm excited to talk to Nick tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a beauty episode, both of these. And I can't wait to get them on at the same time, too.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And we'll talk to you guys soon. I'm Vito Scringi.
I'm Carson Johnstone.
I'm the Slim Reaper. I got one question for you.
Can you feel